Hi everybody, it's W63 and this is Sufia. Today is Monday and this week, the name of the topic this week is Passing and Trans 101. So I guess kind of talking about transition for those just starting out. And I wasn't really sure where to start for the topic this week because I think that the topic itself makes a lot of assumptions, so I think I'm just going to start there. So as we do, this video, as all of our videos on the channel are from our own perspectives, and so as a cis female who is not transitioning, I can't really talk about what passing is like for me or, sort of like beginning transition as from my own personal perspective. So I just want to make that clear that I'm not talking from that perspective. So this will be kind of a combination of what I've seen with Mel and then also just my own thoughts on passing in general. So I actually take pretty serious issue with the idea of folks feeling the pressure to pass. Just wanting to kind of break apart this terminology in general, like what does passing mean and what does being read as a proper male or female if you're transitioning to female, what that means. And I think that it really holds a lot of assumptions about gender and performance of gender, how we understand gender, how we read gender, and how we accept gender. And so when it comes to trans conversation, I think that, I take really serious issue with an individual feeling the pressure to perform their gender in a certain way because I feel like that really upholds the gender binary. And so from my experience, from my partner's transition, Mel identifies as trans and is transitioning, is taking hormones, is taking testosterone, and identifies as genderqueer. Mel does not identify as male, and Mel uses they, gender neutral pronouns. So in that experience, Mel does not have the desire, at least not right now, at this point in life, to be read as male strictly, and doesn't want to be read as female either, but is exactly that, is gender non-conforming. So I think that there is a lot of unnecessary pressure in the trans community that folks put on themselves, and that allies and all of us put on folks to perform gender in a certain way, to look a certain way, wear your pants exactly a certain way, to sit a certain way. All these things that I think if you really break apart these behaviors, you really get to the root of gender being this social construct, and I just don't think that we need to keep upholding it. I think people can be who they are and perform their gender in whatever way feels comfortable for them. So that's why passing as a concept is really uncomfortable for me, and I don't, in our relationship is something we've talked a lot about. Mel is starting to pass as male, they've been on T for a little over 6 months now, and have some facial hair going on. Mel's voice has dropped significantly. Mel's always had a deeper voice, but Mel's voice is very deep now. Mel called me at work on the phone. We both worked at the same place, and so called me from a work number, and I thought it was just somebody I was working with. I had no idea it was Mel. So even I am totally reading Mel's voice as a male voice. So those physical things are happening. And then on the, I guess, sort of social side of it, Mel wants to continue to use gender neutral pronouns, and Mel wants to continue to sort of live in between male and female and redefine gender in that way. So all of that being said about my personal feelings around passing and what has been our experience in Mel's transition, I absolutely want to honor and recognize that for some folks, passing is a very socially necessary and maybe even safety-oriented issue, that depending on where someone lives, being read as outside of a gender box may not be safe. And so yeah, I don't know. I just want to make space for that as well. That's also an experience people are having. So something that's happening for us is that we're on this big road trip. We have quit our jobs and we are moving from Asheville, North Carolina to Albuquerque, New Mexico eventually. But right now we're taking a few weeks to do a big road trip, and we've gone from North Carolina up to through Virginia to New York and across, and today we're in Chicago. So Mel has been using bathrooms in gas stations and rest stops and that kind of thing, and has been using the men's restroom, whereas at home, Mel was only doing that in places that felt safer, so like at work, where Mel knew that that was okay, or where there were single stall restrooms, that kind of thing. But in the rest stop, when you stop and there's, you know, a bathroom stall with 20 stalls, or bathroom with 20 stalls in it, it can be kind of an intimidating situation. But Mel is using the male restroom there. And that's come up in our conversations, you know, that fitting inside one box or the other definitely makes the bathroom experience much more comfortable. So I basically am just trying to trying to problematize this issue a little bit, that I don't think that it's black and white like anything in life, but especially with trans issues or gender issues. You know, there is no one way to do it. And so while Mel does not personally want to be read as strictly as a cis male, Mel does not want to be read as a cis male, Mel kind of hopes that no one asks anything or questions anything when they're using the male restroom at a rest stop or something. So let's see. Another part of passing that I've been thinking about is my experience of it. So as this channel is really for, you know, experience of partners and sharing that and building that community, something I've been thinking about for me is, as a queer identified woman who is often read as straight and who really wants to honor my queer identity, when we go out and Mel is read as a guy and we just look like a hetero couple, that brings up emotional issues for me. And none of that is wrong. None of that is that I shouldn't be having these feelings, and none of that is that, you know, Mel should be doing anything different. It's all okay, and it's just, I think, important to notice that, or to know that those feelings could come up as, you know, your partner transitions, that it does affect your personal feelings around identity if your partner is being read as something, like if you've identified as lesbian before, and we've talked about this in other videos, so I don't want to go down that trail, but I know that for me, in this conversation around passing, has come up, in our conversations has come up, you know, that I'm having some emotional tension when we're out, and, you know, I like being seen as a queer couple for the majority of the time, and that's something that's kind of changing right now. So basically, my thoughts on, I also wanted to say about like Trans 101 and beginning transition, that kind of thing. You know, you don't have to be a guy, you don't have to be a dude to be trans or be trans masculine. If your Mel identifies as masculine of center, and so that just means more masculine than feminine, and you don't have to just be a dude all of a sudden. And since trans is such an umbrella term, I want to make space for that as well. So basically my thoughts on passing in Trans 101 are that screw the gender binary, and you don't have to be a dude to be trans. So we can open this up a lot more. If anyone wants to post comments or ask questions or anything, feel free. I really want to keep this conversation on my end from the partner's perspective and not really offer, to me, I don't see this as a place to offer advice on how to do things, only share my experiences and my thoughts on things and maybe open up conversations. So I don't have any advice on how to pass or how to start your transition as far as socially and that kind of thing. But as always, feel free to comment or post questions if you have any, and I hope you guys have a great week. Next week we should be in Houston, so see you guys from there. All right, have a good week. Bye.